Well, Dustin, it's over. The whole season.
It
The whole
is.
season is over.
I I was not mentally prepared. Like I've spent the last five and a half months with just looking forward to the next hockey game. And like the Four Nations break, I was like, this is hell. Like how long are we gonna have to wait for another Utah Hockey Club game? And just didn't ever really come to grips with the fact that there was going to be an off season, and here we are.
Here we are in a disappointing way to end the season. We'll really test that poll that we put out on whether or not people like post game shows following a loss. But this isn't
Well,
exactly your
this is a
normal post
postseason
game,
show.
right? Yeah, this is more about the coming together as fans to talk about the entirety of the season, because we can pretty much put this one out of our minds, right? This is one of those that this was a November game, a December game. Utah Hockey Club just wasn't ever in it. It was not the greatest effort. However, Clayton Keller gets his 90th point. I mean, that's
Yes,
something, right?
that was very cool. It's been you and Ryan were talking about this in the pregame show I listened to a little bit, but a lot of players hitting career highs this year, and it's just another milestone to sort of notch in the old Utah Hockey Club belt is that milestone. But I think you hit it right on the head when you were talking in the pregame that this was a fun year to have a whole bunch of career highs. But next year needs to be all about the playoffs. This team needs to make the playoffs next year.
Yep, absolutely. It's funny that so when we first started this podcast, we got into it with some Arizona fans. We were talking about Schmaltz being the captain, that whole troll sequence, right? And it all
Yeah.
kind of started with a hockey writer from Arizona who now covers mostly the Calgary Flames, Mike Gould, and he was talking, about how Schmaltz wasn't going to be it. He was surprised if he would, blah blah blah. But Mike Gould just posted because the Calgary Flames are out of it, right? The St. Louis Blues put that nail in the coffin. Now Calgary, it doesn't matter. It looks like I haven't seen the score. They were down by 2 goals anyway. They had to beat Vegas. It didn't look like they were going to close that deal.
They have actually scored 2 goals in the third to tie it up at 3.
So there we
With
go.
about 13 minutes left.
So they play better when it's meaningless, unlike Utah. But so he was talking about how it's just it was exciting from a perspective of like maybe exceeding expectation. But the fact that you didn't make the playoffs and you have no shot at a lottery, like you're just like caught in this purgatory, and that's kind of where Utah is. Thank goodness. Utah's system, we've drafted so well. We've got guys like there's no real draft pick that we're going to make this year that's going to be a make or break necessarily. There's no real player that's in this year's draft that's going to be a franchise type guy. So I guess it doesn't. If you're going to miss the lottery, it's a good season. But it's funny to see that kind of reaction from him, and kind of like thinking about it from terms of the Utah Hockey Club, in terms of where I set my expectations before the season, during the season, and there were so many times where I would shift my expectations of this team is the most middling team, this team is the worst team, this team is the best team, and kind of Turney talked about it, or it was actually Bill Armstrong who talked about that's just the growing pains. But next season, like it can't be just the growing pains of a growing season. Like next year, it's playoffs or bust. So there's going to be a lot of excitement. This season had it's like right the inaugural season, and that hype level of the NHL finally coming to Utah can't be surpassed. But next season, it's just we're now an NHL franchise, and it becomes like you're all chasing one goal, and that's to lift Lord Stanley's Cup. And we're going to see if Utah can do that and make that jump. Because if they don't, then that's where the concern starts. And then you're just wondering, oh no, what did we get ourselves into? Is this Coyotes 2.0?
Yeah, and we talked about that because we started this podcast like during the Stanley Cup playoffs last season, shortly after we learned that we were getting that we were getting an NHL team, and we talked about sort of how much of a grace period the Utah Hockey Club had where they could ride like just they could sell tickets and get people excited just based on the fact that we finally had an NHL team. And I think, especially because we have a roster that, I mean, depending on what we do in the offseason, if there's any like big headline trades or free agent signings, like you talked in the pregame, there's not too many options out there in the free agent market. But I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I think having a good team and having a good roster is obviously, that's a good thing. But I think it also kind of hurts the idea that you can skate for a couple more years just based on it being finally we have NHL hockey in Utah, because we're now at a point where we should be good. Like maybe we shouldn't be great yet. As you kind of break that down, the hierarchy of like Stanley Cup contending teams, playoff teams, fringe wildcard teams, and then teams that don't make the playoffs, like they're climbing up that. They may not be to the Stanley Cup contending team level yet, but this is definitely next year, like what should be a playoff contending team, not just a wild card team, but a playoff, like firm playoff team. You know what I mean? And I think, like I said, it's kind of double-edged, because it's nice to have a good team, but I think it's going to hurt the franchise just in terms of how long they can go without making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they're in it for the long haul, right? Ryan Smith's in it for the long haul. He's trying to build the grassroots in Utah that's going to not just be this hype of the first season, hopefully build it. But yeah, it's when you get into the doldrums, like so think of it this way. You look at like the Utah Jazz, right? Utah Jazz during their kind of tank note seasons have lost a few fans. Now, I don't know these fans personally. I don't know how invested they were in the team. I've never really been that invested in it. But if you get into 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons, like let's look at a decade down the road, like all these young fans who got into the game between ages of 8 and 12, now they're 18 to 24, and the team is just garbage. So as they're starting to get families of their own, like that's where you worry. But I think this team is built enough for the future where it can, hopefully. Otherwise, it's going to be but we're going to love it all the same, right? We're going to be here all the same, and that's what we like to do. We love to talk about the Utah Hockey Club and all the things that go into it. So if we can get this out of our mind, we're going to show the famous, it couldn't have summed it up better, Sergey giving the nice little saying thank you guys, I'm out. This one has been floating all over Twitter, and I don't know whose camera crew that was. I hope it wasn't Clubman. They've done a fantastic job all year, but maybe if there was a post game mini mic or some, maybe it was the St. Louis Blues or maybe SEG Plus's cameras. But Sergey summed that game up. So let's move on for the game. It just was from start to finish. Utah, like I said, it's never really in it. But let's talk about. So you weren't on the pregame, so you didn't get to discuss some of the highs and lows of the season from your perspective, right? We've obviously talked a lot about the team over the course of this season in the individual episodes, but what were kind of some of your favorite moments from the season? Maybe something, if we've talked about it, go for it. If we haven't, is there anything that stood out to you this season?
So I think my favorite, like the most excited I got this season, and I'm trying to remember who it was. It was an overtime game where we scored with like 0.6 seconds left on the clock. And I just, you brought it up I was listening to the pregame. I was driving home, so I was listening to you guys. But I obviously I couldn't take part in it. And I thought, I'm like, okay, that's what I want to talk about, because that was probably my favorite. Oh, it was Dylan Guenther against the Philadelphia Flyers. Okay. It was Philadelphia, Dylan Guenther scoring at the 4-minute, 59-second mark. Just sort of that, like Philadelphia had a chance, because that's what overtime is. It's just chance after chance after chance. But Philadelphia has a chance, and then Utah gets it, and they're like, all you're hoping for is like, okay, enough time to get a shot off. And then Dylan Gunther lights the lamp with like 0.6 seconds left. And that was a very, like, probably the most thrilling end to a game this year. So that's probably my favorite moment of the season.
Yeah, Dylan Gunther's goals were a thing of legend this year, and something special. He had quite a few late game heroics, game winning goals, and that game. It was funny that yes.
I also have to mention, you said in the pregame show, you talked about the 49 save performance by Vejmelka against Carolina. I was in the stadium for that game. That was the one where my good friend Dr. Pat P, I'll give him a shout out if you are on X. Follow that guy, one of the best humans I've ever met in my entire life. He took me to that game, so I was there for that. So that I'm going to make that my favorite moment of the season, being there for that performance and the veggie chants when he came out on the ice after being named the first star. And that was exciting. That's my favorite moment.
It really was one of those that the legend was born on that night, and the legend of Veggie, and then he just kept building on it, right? He just kept building on it and building on it and building on it and building on it. Yeah. And we have this great thing, with the Broccoli Brandon coming out and all the other fans coming out for him. You've got these super fans. You've got Hey Ash Tweets, whose goalies are her life, and it's just fantastic to see that kind of connection. Goalies. Yeah. And that's great. That's what you want to, it's like me and Schmaltz, it's like, you want to see that connection. You want to see the connection between the fans and the players. And that's what we love about sports. And that's what I think I'm hoping there's in hockey, maybe not as much movement, and so you can kind of there is the draft and develop, and you keep these guys long term. There's always those like back half of the roster that's coming and going, playing for a different team every season. You think like an Ian Cole type guy, especially as they start to get on, but then you got players like Dylan Gunther, where you lock him up for 8 years at $8 million. That looks like the steal of the century. And now you've got all these fans. Hopefully you've got kids, and we've seen, families like Johnny and Hockey Mom. Like this is like a family event, right? And this is something that is so near and dear to me, growing up in a hockey family. And just hearing stories that my parents tell me about going to games that I don't remember. I don't remember the games, but they do, right? And that is core memories unlocked. And I'm hoping that all of the fans got to experience that, whether they have kids or not. But I think we've made, and it looks like, reading a lot of like Twitter, a lot of converts, people who maybe weren't diehard NHL fans, now kind of are. And having a team here, really, because hockey was always exciting, right? We've been fans of the game for years, like, right? Hockey's always been my favorite sport, but it's different. It is just different when you're watching a team that's here in your state versus a team that, maybe if I'm lucky, once every 3 years I could travel to go watch them, kind of thing. I am not a wealthy man. I can't go to Vegas and throw my cash around whenever I please. But I've been fortunate enough to, thank goodness. We talked about this. Do you remember, Dustin? We were talking earlier this season about all those seats in the upper deck, the single goal seats just kind of sitting empty those first few games. And it's like, give them to the fans. I got to tell you guys, if you didn't take advantage of like the Smiths deal or the Nomi Health deal and things like that, getting $5 and $10 tickets, even just the single goal seats, the experience alone this year was so incredible this season. And I'll tell you, I sat in the upper deck and I sat rink side, and I'll tell you, the stadium is louder up at the top. And it's not some cliche where only the diehards sit up top because that's all they can afford. We talked to Brogan Houston about this, the tin roof of the Delta Center. For whatever reason, that building gets so loud up top. But when you're up against the glass, it's a surreal experience, and I hope everybody gets to experience it, whether it's at the Utah Grizzlies or the Utah Hockey Club. Go experience on the glass hockey, but it's different, and that the getting to experience those different things were great. And so I was so excited when they released some of those deals, because I'll be honest, that's the only really way I could take my family. It's like, 80, 90, $100 a pop for single goal tickets at market price. And that's like $60 would be like a steal if you could find it, kind of thing. we paid for front row seats on the upper bowl. It was like a $190 a ticket. It was just, you couldn't do it with the family. So I hope as long as those obstructed view seats exist, I hope they continue to roll out those deals to make hockey accessible to everybody, not just, you know, those lucky few that can afford it. So, but shout out to the SEG team providing it on SEG Plus and on Utah 16. We got to watch it, and you know what? I got to say, Kimberly Becker I couldn't remember her name. She's fantastic. Yeah. She does a great job, and I apologize, but yeah, man, the Delta Center was electric all year, and just watching Twitter feeds of people there posting their pictures from their seats, and you know, panoramics of the arena. It's just been a surreal experience, I gotta say.
Yeah, those single game, the single goal view tickets that they put on that deal, especially with Smiths. Like, my family took advantage of that one time, and we went to the game against the New Jersey Devils. We lost, but it was still so much fun, and I've loved having hockey in Utah because it is the first sport that everybody in my family, from top to bottom, has become interested in. You know, like my oldest son, he's autistic and he has ADHD, and I've never ever been able to get him to sit down and watch a basketball game, a baseball game, a football game with me. Like, he'll sit down for a couple of minutes, ask a couple of questions, then he wants to go build Legos, or he wants to go do something else. Because it doesn't, none of them have held his attention, but hockey has. Like, he had so much fun at that game, and he just, like, I put on just a random game like a week ago or something like that, and the Devils were playing in it, and he saw their logo, and he's like, "Dad, that's the team that we went and saw. That's the team that we went to that game." Like, he's taken to it. He's enjoyed it. So, like, that's something, as like, and as I got into my adult life and became a parent, like, I was like, when I found out that my first child was gonna be a boy, I'm like, okay, like, awesome. Like, I'm gonna have this little dude, this little buddy to watch sports with, and it's gonna be exciting. And he just, I was never gonna be the type of parent who was like pushing his kids into something. Like, no, you have to sit down, you have to watch this. This is something that you have to like. So, like, I was never gonna force him to enjoy that stuff with me. And when he didn't, like I'm like, okay, I understand. You're not into it. That's fine. But, like, there's a little part of me that's like, man, I kind of wish that like he'd enjoy this with me. And hockey's given us that, you know, like, he likes to sit down and watch hockey, and he asks questions, and every time it stops, every time action stops, he's like, was that a penalty? And I'm like, no, that was icing. And what's icing? And so, like, I explained it to him, and then, you know, like, there's a goalie stoppage. He's like, was that icing? I was like, no, it stopped because the goalie, he caught the puck and then he held on to it. He freezes the puck, and now it's going to be a face-off. He's like, what's face-off? Like, actually, like, engaged and watching and excited. And even my little 2-year-old son, I'll put a game on the TV, and he sees that purple screen with the SEG logo in the middle. He sees that pop up on the TV. He's like, hockey game. And, like, he'll come into our bedroom early in the morning, and he goes, is hockey game today? I'm like, yeah, there's a hockey game. Like, yay. Like, just, he doesn't even know what's happening, but my little 2-year-old is excited. My daughter is excited. Like, my daughter actually wants to play hockey, and we have a friend of the family who, she has one of my wife's friends. She has 2 little daughters. They've both gotten into hockey. Like, they've basically become a hockey family, traveling to away little league games and youth hockey, and just, it's been amazing. And the things that I haven't even touched on this, but what Ryan Smith has pledged to do in terms of building rinks around the state to just grow, not only just grow the Utah Hockey Club, but to grow the game. Like, the game of hockey itself is just amazing. And I cannot wait. I'm so excited for the future. I'm so excited. Like, I hope that my kids carry on this interest, and I get to watch them. And, like, I have daydreams of, like, being like, was it Aginla's parents it was Lamoureux's parents when he got drafted, just decided to start making out on camera. Like that's going to be me and my wife. My sons, they're going to be drafted. My daughter's going to play in the USWL, the Women's League.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're all going to go pro. I'm going to be on camera over and over, making out with my wife when they get drafted. Like it's going to be so much fun. Just I'm over the moon with how this whole thing has turned out. You know, I still remember when it was actually like confirmed, when the tweets started coming out, like, okay, Smith is going to buy the Arizona Coyotes. He's going to move the team to Utah. But like those tweets started coming out. I was like, oh my God, this is real. And I was in a drive-through for an In-N-Out burger for my wife because she wanted an In-N-Out burger, talking to my dad on the phone, just like, what is this going to be? Like, how is this going to work? Where are they going to play? Or are they going to renovate? Like, just going from excited about the future, but not knowing where it was going to go, to seeing how this whole vision has just panned out is phenomenal. Like, I'm just so ecstatic for the future of hockey in the state of Utah.
Oh, you just hit the nail on the head there. I mean, that was perfect. And there's actually a pretty healthy youth group now. But if we can make it more accessible, like you said, with the programs that Ryan is trying to implement, and I tell you, especially gear, if you can get a more healthy, maybe, then you see it on the ads for like the 6 to 8 week programs where gear is provided, and because it's an expensive sport. Let's just say that. I tried to play hockey when I was 8 years old. We went to the Bountiful Ice Rink, and my parents saw the sign-up sheet and said, absolutely not. Got me in soccer instead, because it was a much more accessible sport, right? It was much more economical sport. And so hopefully the growth of the sport and the more facilities that there are, the more organizations supporting it, the more accessible it becomes to everybody, and just truly grows. And that's how you grow. That's how you grow a fan base, right? Is not just having a team, right? But it's having the community that they've already, in such a short period of time, already built such a tremendous community, pledging to do more. We're watching more. We're watching the facility in Southtown Mall get built that's going to be open to the public. We're going to start getting the plans for the Delta Center renovation, which is also increasing the hype for maybe like the MLB team and stuff. And it's just excitement over sports, where I do truly feel like the Jazz have been down recently. So the only, like, the excitement from sports comes from Utah and BYU football, and then maybe if Utah or BYU make the NCAA tournament, and that's it, right? Otherwise, you just kind of watch the Jazz middle around, and so it's so nice to see just another option. And if we continue to add, and if they get an MLB team, that'll be great. But it's good for the community, it's good for the state, it's good for everybody, and it can only go up from here. It's just been, I can't say enough. I'm trying to scroll through Twitter to see it, and it's just, I wish if it was a win, I think it would be a different atmosphere, right? Like a lot more, because it's a very somber tone, right? Like I feel like the win last night was more like the swan song of the team in terms of the last game, and so just trying to like find things. There's just a lot of the Sergey flipping off, and but it all talks about excitement for the future, and how excited they are for this season and this organization, which from top to bottom has been fantastic. And sky's the limit. That's the best part, is we've got a wide open window right now, and barring some catastrophic injury or some other things that I don't want to harp on and focus on the negatives, but it's been great. And the best part is there's so much room for improvement too. Like, I don't think this is this team's ceiling by any stretch of the imagination. You see, even all those career highs, that I still feel like so many players on this team can still have growth. Even guys like Clayton Keller, like could we be talking in 2, 3, 4 years? Is he in that conversation just like Nikita Kucherov and Nathan MacKinnon and going for the Art Ross Trophy? We get 100-point goal scorer, or not a goal scorer, 100-point scorer, and we talk about like even our best players having their best season now. The best is still yet to come. That's the best part. And the system that we've got, we're going to keep having young guys come in. We've got a lot of good draft picks still, a lot of cap space that I hope they use effectively and really make a run at this, because playoff hockey in Utah is going to be absolutely insane when it comes, because it will, right? It will. If it's not next year, it will come. And playoff hockey in the state of Utah is going to be absolutely insane, and I just cannot wait to experience. I'm gonna be the guy outside the Delta Center when we score. They show us on ESPN or TNT or whoever's carrying the game. We're out there with the thousands of fans jumping.
And everybody that can't afford tickets that are watching on the concourse outside of the stadium, that are watching on the big screen because they can't afford playoff hockey tickets. Like, oh yeah, that's gonna be us. We next year when we make the playoffs, we need to talk to the Utah Hockey Club, Ryan Smith, the Delta Center, whoever it is that we need to talk to, and set up like a little booth outside the arena to like we'll lead that whole that group of fans. Since we're the podcast by the fans for the fans, we'll lead everything outside. Like we can just broadcast the TV, the screen. And I'll do the play-by-play. Like we'll have our own thing. We'll just have our own the fans of the fans production going on outside, and it's gonna be phenomenal. But yes, playoff basketball in the Delta Center is already super loud. Like you can go back and talk to some of the NBA guys from the 90s when Utah made their runs at the NBA Finals and whatnot, and ask them what's the loudest the loudest arena, and they'll tell you fans in Utah are loud. And playoff hockey is even better than playoff basketball. I came into this as sort of the casual NHL fan. I paid some attention, but I wasn't a diehard fan of anybody. But I paid attention when the Stanley Cup playoffs rolled around, because it's the best playoffs there is. You could maybe the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament could hold a candle to it, but that's just because there's Cinderella stories, there's upsets, there's buzzer beaters, and then especially this year when you get down towards the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final 4, when it's basically all chalk and it's the top 1 and 2 seeds made it all the way down. Playoff hockey is just, it's better at that point, and it's because it's compared to basketball, although I'll say compared to basketball, it's a low scoring game. In the playoffs, there's not really many games that are you're halfway through the second period and it's over. And you saw just the other day with the Dallas Stars, who did they blow that lead to, where they gave up 3 goals in the final minute? The game is usually it's always coming down to the wire. A playoff game is always going to come down to the wire. It's always going to be edge of your seat entertainment, and it's better than any other professional playoffs out there. And when we get it in Utah, and we will, when we get it in Utah, it's going to be must-see TV.
Absolutely. And one thing, I think if any fans out there, if you're just joining the NHL because of the Utah Hockey Club, fantastic. That's fantastic. But I encourage you to watch as much of the Stanley Cup playoffs as you can, because Dustin is right. The atmosphere of an NHL playoff game is just so much different. And there's so much parity in the NHL where it's not okay, so Winnipeg had the best regular season, but they are by no means a lock to just walk their way to the cup final. It just doesn't happen that way in hockey, at least not often. And there's so many times where we see what was an 8th seed, cruise to the Stanley Cup finals. And so it's once the playoffs start, right, any of those 16 teams are capable of beating the other 15. And that's what makes the best of 7 so special. And the trophy at the end, if you're just joining, new to hockey, if you ask anybody out there who knows all the trophies, I don't think that there is a trophy out there that can compete trophy for trophy with the Stanley Cup. It is just the most iconic trophy in sports, and watching your team skate around with that Stanley Cup is something that I have wanted to do for 38 years now, and I'm hoping to get that opportunity here in Utah. And we're not, maybe, I don't want to say we're gonna, I will say we're gonna win the cup in 2 years, but only if we get Mitch Marner and John Cooper. But we will get playoff hockey soon. And then the opportunity to see that moment, to see the Stanley Cup raised, is going to be a surreal experience that I, to be 100% honest, never thought that I would get to experience in the state of Utah. And so thank you, Arizona. We've had our spats. I know it hurts, it's painful, but your team's still here, and you've all been welcome to join. And I know that it may not be the same, but these are the same guys that you watched in Arizona. They're the same guys putting it all out on the ice there every night. And they're the same guys that you can root for here. So just join us. Don't be those fans that have already blocked half of Twitter because you can't stand to see a Utah, fan out there. If you just join the winning side, just come on in. The water's welcome. Join now, because if you wait till we make the playoffs, then I'm going to accuse you of being bandwagon fans, and nobody wants that. So join now. I'll give you a free pass until the semifinals. Then you can jump on. After that, though, you're a bandwagon fan, and I'm going to heckle you. Free pass to heckle you, and you agree to it by listening to this. You agreed to it. No take backsies. No take backsies.
It's all this. It's all the same players. Well, I shouldn't say all the same players, because like there's some guys there. There's some important signings. Like, let's see, who wasn't like last year? The Sergachev wasn't here. Ian Cole wasn't here. Stenlund wasn't here. Ollie Mata wasn't here. So like I'm like for the most part, like the core guys, Dursey was there. Liam O'Brien was there, Cooley, Keller, Schmaltz, like, I mean, even crowd favorite and coach favorite Matthias Michelli was with the Coyotes last year. So it's not us that took away your. Okay, we did.
The two of us did too.
I was gonna say, like, Brandon and I personally took your team away, and I'm sorry, but it is not our fault. It's not Ryan Smith's fault. It's not Utah fans' fault. It's not the players' fault that you had an owner that just didn't give a shit, right?
Nope.
Like, so don't hate the players and the franchise because your owner sucked. Just join us and experience what it's like to have an owner who gives a damn. Like, your owner wouldn't build you one arena. Our owner's going to renovate the arena and then build like 200 freaking ice rinks across the state just to grow the game. Like, your owner wouldn't build one ice rink for your team to play at. Our owner is going to build 50,000 ice rinks across the state for kids to play in. Like, just experience what that's like. Like, come root for the Utah Hockey Club. Come root for the Mammoth. Like, experience what it's like to root for a team and an ownership and a front office who actually cares. Because the front office cares now, too. The front office is like, okay, now we have an owner that cares. Now we care. Like, you just look how quickly, once the team sold from Arizona and moved to Utah, how quickly the front office is like, okay, let's go get dudes. They go get Sergachev. They go get Ian Cole. They go get Stenlund. Like, and I made a mental note of this earlier. This is going to be a complete sidebar because I have ADHD and I saw a plastic bag floating in the wind. But Stenlund, you guys were talking about like unheralded MVPs of the season. Like, Stenlund is that, right? Stenlund's the guy that you bring in who's a Stanley Cup champion, who's been in the playoffs, who's been down the stretch, and he was so damn good down this last stretch, down in that fight for the wild card spot. Like, so damn good at hockey. But like a type of guy that you just, if you're going to overtime and you have a face off and you need that face off one, he's the guy that you're looking to. Like, that is what you brought him on for. Like, okay, we needed a veteran presence, a veteran voice who goes out there and knows how to perform, who's been in the clutch, who's been in the Stanley Cup Finals, who knows what he's doing, who can help kind of like guide this team and teach them how to win. And he did that in freaking spades this year down the stretch. Like, it didn't work out right. The team fell out a little bit short, but he was so damn good down the stretch. Like, he needs his flowers. He needs his praise, because that signing was awesome. But anyways, yeah, those types of signings happened immediately after the team sold, and just like, come see what this front office is capable of now that they have an owner who will back them up and spend the money. Just come join us. Come up, watch a game in the Delta Center, see what it's like to play in an NHL barn instead of a collegiate arena, and just we'll welcome you with open arms. We'll hug you. We'll buy you a beer. We'll kiss you on the lips. It'll be okay, and you can root for your players, our team, your players.
Yep. Or we could do, it's not our team. It's our team, like the Bugs Bunny communist meme, that one,
Yes,
it's our team. It's going to be the whole league's team. We're the darlings of the league. Everybody loves us. The Calgary fans were in Twitter. I mean, they couldn't say enough nice things about us. And there was a lot of griping about Winnipeg Jets fans. I didn't even heard of a Winnipeg Jet fan. I don't even know if people exist in Winnipeg. They may not have electricity up there, but never heard a bad thing from those guys. Just phenomenal people, phenomenal fans. So come on and join in. But
Winnipeg they were the Atlanta Thrashers before they moved up there, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah,
the Atlanta Thrashers. Like, do you think Atlanta fans are still holding on to a grudge? Like, just, Winnipeg, you stole our team. Like,
Atlanta like, never had fans.
If Atlanta had just followed them up to Winnipeg and still cheered for that team, they would have cheered on a Stanley Cup champion. Mm-hmm. So just don't make the same mistake that the 5 Atlanta Thrasher fans made when they gave up on that franchise because they moved. And I don't know that they probably did they sell, or did they just move because they had no fan support? I don't even know.
I think they did. I think it was a true relocation, but I'm not gonna look. The Thrashers. The history of the Atlanta Thrashers has just been mired in. They took a shot at a very good market. That was the pinnacle of, we need the market, right? And so Arizona, the best thing you've got going for you is the Phoenix market is very coveted for the monetary value, but we'll see how it all plays out. But talking about Kevin Stenlund, we got him locked up for another year. So he and Schmaltz Machelli are all signed through next year. Now the big one, of course, we've talked about this before, is Jack McBain still has not signed. He's a restricted free agent now, but has not re-signed. And I'm hoping we do, because Jack McBain is another one of those guys who started the season incredibly hot offensively. Just he led the team in goals there for a minute, and then kind of fell off. Of course, he goes to the fourth line, but talk about a grinder type guy that just has complemented this team so well and given it a physical presence that they really don't have. Like not really. Like, speaking of the game, I want to ignore this. the 10-minute misconduct for Barrett Hayton, I thought was BS. That was the softest 10-minute misconduct I'd ever seen in my life. And it was an official just being like, I want to control the game. I don't want to see it get chippy, blah, 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 blah. Like, come on. Let them express their frustrations.
This was very obvious, very blatant. The NHL wanted the Blues in the playoffs rather than the Flames, because like they're just straight up playing soccer, kicking pucks into the net, and they're just like, yeah, they scored, count it, who cares? Just straight up, just whoop, like it's the World Cup, just bicycle kicking pucks into the net, and just whoop, yep, that looks good to us. I mean, yeah, that was if I was a Calgary fan, first off, I'd be pissed off that St. Louis scored more in one game against Utah than Calgary did in 3 games. But the other thing I'd be pissed off is how the Zebras basically just like scooted. You know those clips of like when a skater loses a blade and they're getting like pushed off the ice. That's basically what the refs did to the Blues to get them into the playoffs. Like the Blues had lost 3 straight, so they lost a skate. They're trying everything they can, and then here come the refs, just like gently pushing them into the playoffs. Here we go. There you go, guys. So Calgary fans, sorry that the refs screwed you. Sorry that we took Iginla. Sorry that you suck at hockey.
I really think that maybe the NHL is confused about the difference between St. Louis and Kansas City, and maybe they see that the Chiefs are doing something, and so they're trying to capitalize on that and trying to get back that St. Louis magic, as if 2019 wasn't an entire pandemic ago, and we're still thinking about that. Was the last. Nothing counts, right? Nothing counts back then. That was just completely
pandemic seasons don't count.
Nope. So get that out of here. You're going to regret this decision. You're going to regret this decision to get the Blues. But I hope this does spur a nice, healthy rivalry between us and Calgary. I know we're not division rivals at this point, but I truly hope that we get a juicy rivalry. Because if they had even beaten us just once, they wouldn't be in this situation. But unfortunately, they are. They are pretty bad at hockey, and we had their number all season. So take that, Calgary fans.
I heard you saying that in the pregame, so I chirped at a couple of Calgary fans tonight on Twitter just to try and stoke the flames, as it were. But yeah, Jack McBain. You were talking about Jack McBain, and I think the point that you made in the pregame show that he's basically just a better Liam O'Brien was just spot on. Like, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's a better hockey player, he's 5.5 years younger. Like, he's just a better version of what Liam O'Brien was supposed to be. And if you can have your big 6'4", 220-pound like enforcer, like McBain sort of turned into this season, yet also be good at hockey, unless you're being paired on a line with Bjugstad, like also be good at hockey and also score, like that's just better. And I love the idea that you had of just, like Liam O'Brien was only on a 1-year contract, so he's not under contract next season, right?
So we got him through for 3 years. So he's under contract through 26-27, becomes an unrestricted free agent in 27-28. So,
maybe we just suggest and kind of coerce him into like an early retirement by giving him the Nash cast. Just like I understand, and we've talked about this before. I understand that we had to bring some people from Arizona because it was going to be hard enough relocating the team, but it was going to be probably impossible for them to get as many talent, like on-air talent and everything that you need to put the show on TV. They had to bring guys in from Arizona. Like, okay, go ahead, come on up to Utah. We'll throw you on TV. We'll give you your Nash cast, whatever. But now we're established. So just kind of just bribe Liam O'Brien into an early retirement, and say, if you do retire, we have this spot. We'll give you a TV. We'll give you your own TV show. You get to talk about the game. We'll get rid of Nash. We'll call it the tuna can or whatever you guys. I think that's what you said, the tuna can. But we can workshop the name a little bit. We can come up with something better. But I believe it's Austin Facer that's on there with Nash. Like, he can stay. Like O'Brien and Facer would be good. I'd watch that. Like, I didn't watch any of the Nash cast because I had no interest in it. I would 100%, especially because Liam O'Brien knows these players, I'd 100% watch a game where he's talking about and giving dropping little nuggets about this guy and about that guy, and Austin Facer chiming in with what he knows about the game. Like, I would 100% watch that. I'm not watching the Nash cast. So just coerce him into an early retirement, and then we don't have to have this back and forth debate of like, hey, why are we pulling Why are we pulling Yamamoto out of the lineup for O'Brien? Why is Carcone not in the lineup? Why isn't Matthias Michelli? I know we've banged that drum 1,000 times this season, but like, why is Liam O'Brien on the ice and Matthias Michelli is not? Like, you tell me. Honest question. If you see a one-man breakaway, like this is going to be basically a shootout type situation where one guy gets the puck and he's on a breakaway, and you see that it's Liam O'Brien, do you think we're scoring? No, you have no faith in it. You're like you get it. You feel that small amount of excitement because it happened a couple of times this season where he got the puck on a breakaway, or even if it was a 2-on-1 and he's the one who had the puck, like you get that little bit of excitement because you're like, ooh, breakaway. Oh, Liam has a puck. Damn it. And it amounts to basically nothing. I mean, his best assist this season was him blindly flicking the puck towards the middle of the ice, and and I don't even remember. Maybe it was Gunther. I think they somehow wound up on the ice at the same time, like maybe during a shift change that Liam O'Brien didn't get off for. But he fed Dylan Gunther, and like that was his best play of the year, and it was just him blindly. Whoop, but he's like, it's just like, well, somebody's probably out there. I'll flick it there and see what happens. And but if you saw the same thing, a one-man breakaway or a 2-on-1 and Matthias Michelli has the puck, he's at least skilled enough with the stick and skilled enough with the puck, and he knows how to score, regardless of how much he struggled this year. He's still going to be a threat to score in that situation. Liam O'Brien is not. Like, why? I'm gonna give Tourigny a break. I'm not gonna drum this same drum that we've been drumming all season long. But we don't need to do that anymore. We don't need to have this debate of why is Liam O'Brien in the lineup, because it makes no sense. Just give him the Nash cast, rebrand it to whatever he wants the name to be. We'll watch it. It's win-win. He gets to stay. He gets to make money. We get to watch him. We get to see his personality come through on TV rather than just him skating around and bumping up the crowd after he gets his ass whipped. But like it's win-win for everybody involved. So just make it happen. Maybe that's like the most important move of this offseason. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, sign Mitch Marner. Great. But Liam O'Brien, to the TV side of things, it's okay. Now we'll start shifting the SEG production to Utah dudes rather than transplanted Arizona dudes, and it just gets better from there.
Spicy speaks, tuna talks, whatever. Put it up a fan vote. This organization loves fan votes. Put it to a fan vote.
Yeah, just pick a name and then give us all of the names that you workshopped. And pretend like our vote matters, and then call it whatever the hell you want to, like you did with the team name.
Yeah, I will say, speaking of production values, SEG Media was fantastic all season, providing coverage. We have a great admin team, the SEG team, all the people that made it possible. A few things that I would love to see next year. First is ice sound filters. I don't know, maybe it was just my TV. I don't know if anybody out there noticed this, but I felt like through SEG Media, the on ice sounds, especially the it's so loud. But then you watch like a TNT broadcast or an ESPN Plus broadcast, and I don't notice it nearly as much. You notice it, but it seems like they filter out a lot of the non-really hard stops. And so I hope that that's something that SEG can target. But also, speaking of like the Nashcast, so do you remember when they had the lab? The lab
Yes.
was only like a 2-episode experiment,
Yeah.
but I don't know why they stopped it, because if you've been in the arena recently, all the stats that they showed on the lab, they've got on the big boards in the arena. Give us the lab back, and I don't want Nick Olczyk out of a game, but keep him on. Just do the lab's layout with the game broadcast, just like we talked about how when you discovered that. Like, I would watch that exclusively.
I would
watch
100%.
that broadcast.
If you could combine the information that they provided with the lab with that broadcast, and you gave us the option to just put the regular play-by-play over top of it and just like combine those into one, that's how I would watch the game every single day. Every single time that they played, that's how I would watch the game, because it was so cool to see, and like being able to look over and like, because us as fans, like, unless you're paying a lot of attention, like, you don't really realize how long somebody's been on the ice, or how long their shift is getting. And like, even helps you learn just as a fan how short the shifts are. Like once that starts climbing back up, just like, you don't really realize how short the shifts are. And that teaches you, like, that helps you become a better, more informed fan. Like, give us that production, give us that. Like, ideally, you have 3 viewing options on SEG Plus next year. The normal broadcast, with just the normal, typical broadcast of the game with the play-by-play, and then interlace, and then give us the lab, which is the normal play-by-play team and the statistic born, like the statistic filled broadcast, and then give us Spicy Speaks, Tuna Talk, whatever, and give us that one. Give us those 3. Every one of them's gonna, like, they're all gonna have their dedicated section of fans. So there's some gonna be that are gonna watch Tuna every single time because they love him, and they kind of like, whether they watch it more casually or whatnot, they want to watch the game, but they want to hear dudes just kind of chop it up and talk shop, And then there's stat nerds like I think especially you are, but like, I mean, you're the only person I know all season long that went through and made a damn spreadsheet of like breaking down every goal scored and who assisted on it and who had a second assist on it, and just like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Obviously, everybody listening to this doesn't have access to that, but it was very, very cool. So like, you'd love to watch it that way, and then just everybody else that just wants to watch the game and listen to a normal call, that's there too. Like, give us just a wide range of options. Like, you're doing it all anyways. Like, you're already doing the play-by-play. You're already doing the Nashcast. Because we see it in the stadium on the big Jumbotron, you're already doing the lab type broadcast anyways. Just put it there. Just give us the option, and everybody's happy.
Yep. I just don't know. I feel like they really used a lot of graphics in the stadium that they never actually fully took advantage of on SEG Media. And I hope that's one of the things that they learned to incorporate a lot more than just, obviously, like the text overlays are great. And that's very good, very informative. But I truly and honestly thought they would use the player indicators that shows who has the puck. I thought we would get that view exclusively for like the first 10 games, as new fans are trying to associate names with numbers and watching how lines develop and stuff. And they just, I just don't know what their reaction or their test market or why they didn't want the lab to go on. You don't need Nick Olczyk to do it, right? Like maybe that's what it was, is that particular aspect wasn't very successful, and that they thought maybe that he was better utilized in the booth. And if you didn't have Nick Olczyk on there, the lab wouldn't work. I just wanted the overlay. And I wanted to listen to the game being called by Matt, Dom, and Nick, and then give me the lab overlay. I'd watch every game like that. And so I hope that they bring something like that back, at least give us the option for that, because SCG Plus isn't going anywhere. I'm going to resubscribe next year. Like, I think it's a fantastic program. And I think he's I don't want to say struck gold necessarily, because the streaming service isn't exactly like innovative, but he has the opportunity to make it something fantastic and truly make it the premier streaming service in the NHL at the very least. And I'm assuming the Jazz fans who use the Utah Jazz Plus kind of maybe, I don't know what their experience is, because I have both, but I don't use it to watch the Jazz games. But yeah, I feel like there's so much opportunity, so many things you could test. And I thought they were going to do more testing, but it wasn't to be. But that's just something, a feedback loop, right? Ryan Smith, you try new things and we give you feedback on it, you develop it, and you get that constant feedback loop. And that's what we're here for. That's all you want to hire us, you want to pay us the big bucks to do that. That's your prerogative. I'm not saying you have to, but we're available. Talk to my agent, who is also my son. So. But yeah, there's a lot that SCG can do, but the fact that it's free to everybody who has an antenna and non-Comcast subscribers is, I think it's something special, and I hope that never goes away, because that has broadened the audience a tremendous amount. So good on you, SCG Media. And of course the Clubman, who I was critical because she called Nick Schmaltz the other Nick, and I took offense to that. But overall, pretty good Twitter admin, and of course the best fans in the business, right? That's what we have.
So other Nick. So Nick Schmaltz was other Nick.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Nick
guessing
DeSimone.
it was Nick. Was it Nick Bukestad or Nick DeSimone who was first Nick?
Who was first Nick?
DeSimone.
And it was like his first game with the team. I'll never forgive Clubman for that one.
Oh,
and
okay.
Then, and then they think I'm the one who
understand.
hates Schmaltz. I'm like,
if it was his first game here, and they're just like, they're kind of playing off like, oh yeah, this is Nick. That's other Nick, but here's Nick. Like
no, he's other Nick. DeSimone is other Nick.
I know, but bringing in a Nick, the third Nick, and pretending like, yeah, that's Nick. That's the Nick. Of course, like that's good tomfoolery. That's good fun.
Nick Schmaltz is so good, man. That's really been the highlight of the season. How great Nick Schmaltz has been.
The way that he was able to set a career high in points for him this season, right? Career high in points, despite fanning on 74 shots all year long. Like, I should have went higher with my joke right there rather than 74. I said Shadley was like 3.
That sounded too real. It sounded too real.
246 fans, 3 a game. I'm gonna hope that I just did the math in my head right. 82 times 300, 246. I hope I got that right. But
right.
Just quick maths in my head. 246 times this year he fanned on shots, 3 a game, and he still set a career high in points.
He's that good.
Phenomenal work. Phenomenal work from the man who had captain material all season long.
Mm-hmm. And I tell you, some of his fan shots actually turned into phenomenal assists. You guys think I was joking with the whole Harbor Breeze?
He did that early in the season a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was incredible.
Like the first week of the season, I think he had like 3. Like he didn't get credited with an assist because he fanned on the shot. But him missing and moving the goalie so like accounted for like 3 or 4
Mhm.
goals, I want to say, in the first
Yep.
week of the season. That's
Yep.
just more what it should have been, more assists to add to his career high in points. And that just, it's unsung stuff like that that you get from a captain. And that is what you got from Nick Schmaltz all
Mhm.
year long.
All year long, baby. And it's fans be happy. His Harbor Breeze contract is up at the end of the year, and I don't think he's going to renew it, but I hope he made a pretty penny. He paid for his wedding, or is going to pay for his wedding. So, Dustin, we were talking about Nick Schmaltz, but here he's quite the golfer. How cool would it be if Utah Hockey Club did like a fan giveaway where you got to golf with the team?
That would be amazing. That would be fun. Or like how fun, like what we need to do, what you and I need to do, we need to like put out some feelers and find out where these guys golf, and then just go randomly as like me and you. So maybe we get paired up with like another random twosome, and with one day it's freaking Nick and other Nick. Like, wow, let's go golf with the two Nicks. Bukestad doesn't need to be there. Bukestad can be on the first trip, on the first train out of town for all I care, but he doesn't need to golf. We'll golf.
He doesn't seem
we'll
like
golf
a
with the
golfer.
two Nicks.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Hey, speaking of that, did anybody win the Ultimate Fan Experience? Did you see that? So they were giving away tickets to the St. Louis Blues thing, and you could submit a video, and it was like the Ultimate Fan Experience. They were going to pay to fly you out to St. Louis. Did anybody even win that? I didn't see anything
did
on Twitter. Like they didn't announce it or nothing. It was just some random person got like randomly emailed like, hey, by the way, you're getting this. And we will say nothing about it on social media, because I think they ran a contest and didn't declare a winner, which seems borderline illegal, Utah Hockey Club. So I think by default, they should give us tickets to make it up, and we will go on behalf of all the fans. So, but the other guys, I forget which podcast they do. They did a pretty funny video for their cause, and that's what even got me thinking about it, because I forgot that it even was a thing. But I never saw if they announced who won. But
I don't know. I'm looking. So they announced it February 28th.
And
it was going to be to the Nashville Predators game. So yesterday's
Predators game.
Much better game to see last night than tonight. Oh yeah. But they didn't tweet anything else. Let me double check. Let me go to their.
If anybody listening knows who won that, let's get them on the show. Let's see what the Ultimate Fan Experience gets you. Was it the Ultimate Fan Experience, and are you the Ultimate Fan? Maybe that's what it was. They couldn't decide who was the Ultimate Fan because Utah Hockey Club fans are so great that they couldn't even decide who would actually win. And I think making the video optional was maybe their big mistake, because, is it a talent show or is it a random raffle? And I don't know that they could decide. And maybe that ambiguity gave them the out that they didn't actually have to award the prize, because they didn't specify that it was like a radio contest with all these rules and things. It was more like a talent show that they canceled because they didn't have enough entrants, and they couldn't just give the people that did it the win. So I don't know, but if anybody out there knows who won that Ultimate Fan Experience,
they never publicly, at least on Twitter, they never publicly they tweeted the phrase Ultimate Fan Experience once, and it was to announce that contest. They never announced a winner, as far as I can see. But
well, get your videos ready, fans. If it comes back next year, get your videos ready, because hopefully they'll follow through with it. Maybe great seats weren't available then. Maybe that Nashville game was already sold out and they missed their opportunity. But it was just something I was thinking about, just the cool things, because there have been a lot of cool promotions throughout the season, and a lot of fans leaving games happy, getting pucks, getting sticks. Remy, my daughter, got 5 pucks that last game. It was pretty awesome. Didn't get the warm-up pucks because it was quite crowded, there. But yeah, it was it's fun.
Speaking of pucks, I really hope they find a way to reduce, like I've thought about it, and I don't know how they could, but I hope there's some way in the future to cut back on the people who go and buy the game pucks and then try to turn around and immediately scalp them. Because like I would see, I'm in a couple of different like Facebook groups for the Utah Hockey Club, and like you would see people trying to hawk those things for like 4 to 5 times face value, like what they bought it for, like in the first period of the game that they bought it at. Like they went and they went early, they got those pucks, they bought a couple of them, and then tried to turn around and make a profit on them. And that's just, that is probably like this was a season of ups and downs and some hard moments and stuff like that. That would probably be my like lowest point of the season, is seeing how many fans, rather than just letting people just buy one, but buy two if you want to, whatever, but just let fans get the pucks that they want, rather than trying to turn it into like another, like, oh, I'm going to buy these and try and scalp them. Like, scalpers ruin so many damn things. Like, you had to ruin the game puck business. The first year we have it, you have to turn that into a scalping opportunity. Just shame. I'm calling you out, puck scalping sons of bitches. Just shame on you, shame on your family, shame on everybody within your spitting range right now. If you're sitting at home next to your wife and loving children, shame to all of them because of you. Just let people have things without trying to make money off of them. It sucks.
I hope they stub their
Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith is probably like the ultimate, like he's a freaking billionaire. So that dude knows how to make money. And even he was like, yeah, let's sell these single view goal seats for $5. Like, we're not going to make anything off of it. Like, let's sell these seats for $5, and we'll give them food too. We'll give the people food. Like, that's one thing that I mentioned early on in the season. I was like, just like sell the seats or give the seats away. You're going to make money because people are going to go buy concessions. That's what I said. Then he gave the concessions away for free. Like, Ryan Smith himself not trying to make money off of those seats, not trying to make money off the concessions, just doing something cool out of the kindness of his heart. And you're going to show up and try to scalp pucks. A puck, good guy, right? Pucks.
I'm going to try to flip the $3 nachos next time. I'm going to buy the $3 nachos and try to flip them for $5. That's what I'm going to do. But my sister got gouged. She paid $75 a day before they announced that they were going to resell all the games. A day before that, she bought the Utah Colorado one. It was the only one she didn't get while she was at the game she went to. Otherwise, she had all the ones she'd been to. She paid $75 for the $25 puck, and then the day later they announced it. So I'm hoping that they just printed, and you're going to still see them, right? You're going to still see those pucks try to be flipped, because the sad reality is people buy them. They may not know they went back up for sale, or something. They're a moment of weakness or desperation. They just want it now, and it sucks. Like that and the SeatGeek ticket fees. It's criminal. It's criminal and organized crime, and hopefully that goes away soon. But overall, I mean, I enjoyed my SeatGeek. The business is fine. It's just cost. It just sucks to pay that cost when you're paying 25 to 30% on top of the ticket price just to purchase it. It's like, man, just build that into the ticket price. Don't even tell me it's a fee.
Convenience
fees. It was awful, but it is what it is. But I think we're getting down to the end of it. What a ride, man. What a ride it's been. We've got the Family Cup series coming up. We're going to do our playoff coverage. We're going to do our draft coverage. We're going to do our free agent coverage. And then you and I are going to go into the off season as well for a couple months in the summer, doing some content here and there. But it's going to go dark, and man, just here we are. It just feels like just yesterday was October 8th, and now here we are, April 15th.
Yeah, it's gone by in the blink of an eye, and like I think we're still gonna be cranking out content, like you said, the Family Cup Champion Series. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun, and just judging strictly from the amount of attention and replies and likes that
Mm-hmm.
tweet got, I think it's gonna be popular. I
Yep.
think a lot of people are really gonna like that, and I'm excited because like we've talked to some of these fans, like we've talked to these fans throughout the season. They've tweeted back at us, and we've interacted. And it's going to be so much fun to have them on and talk about like what it was like experiencing it. Like I'm not going to like spoil any guests or anything like that, but we have people that have traveled to with the team to
Mm-hmm.
other countries to watch this team play. We're going to talk to them about what that was like. Just it's going to be so much fun to see and hear how other people experienced this inaugural season. And then I'll spoil it here. Like I haven't sent like an official tweet or anything like that, but Stanley Cup playoff coverage is probably going to be the launching point for what I believe we're going to call the Two Line League Pass podcast, which is just another hopefully weekly show. Like hopefully my goal, let's have like a brainstorming session for our own podcast live right now. But like
Mm-hmm.
I think the ultimate goal for next year is like we have we release 2 podcasts a week. One's the Two Line Pass original Utah Hockey Club coverage podcast, and then the other one where it's the Two Line League Pass, and we talk about what's going on in the NHL and some of the bigger storylines in the NHL. So we hit you locally, we hit you nationally, and we're like your one stop. We're your one stop place for all of your NHL coverage. So look for that. That's probably going to launch while we talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs here in God. When do we got to be just a few days away from the playoffs starting? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they start in a week and a half, maybe. I think it's 1 week break between the end of the regular season and the start of the playoffs. So coming up, I'm also going to we're going to do like the Family Cup, trophy, right? For I guess I haven't announced
Yep.
that, but for the best interview voted on by the fans, you're going to win. We can do whatever trophy, but I'm thinking I want to make a replica little Stanley Cup, that you can have in your background, and it's going to be amazing. But man, I'm excited to talk to some people more. It's different, right? You talk to them, you interact through them through Twitter and stuff, and you kind of get one side of the story, but to get down and to see how other fans are experiencing this season is going to be such a tremendous opportunity. I hope everybody enjoys it and just gets everybody involved, because you've got a lot of great people doing a lot of things, and it's all for you guys out there watching, listening, liking, commenting on everybody's posts. This community is phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
The 19th. The
Oh, geez, 4
19th
days.
is
Wow.
the first playoff game. This is the
So
15th. We have
it's here.
4 days until the playoffs start.
So it's here, guys. It's here, and it's not going to be long until Utah's right there with it. But man, what a great season it's been. The fun isn't over yet. A couple more months of the Two Line Pass before our break. Before we get out of here for the night, Dustin, any closing thoughts, any closing comments about the season?
What a ride it's been, man. It's been fun. Ups and downs. And I mean, for as much as it hurts to miss the playoffs, we got exactly what we wanted. Like we only had, I think we made it to game 78 before we were officially eliminated from playoff contention. And I know like the last couple of those were like, we have to win every game and the Blues have to lose every game, or the Wild need to lose every game. Like it was just the next time we lose, or the next time they win, we're eliminated. So like maybe it was a little bit more, but basically every game this season mattered. Every game was like still in playoff contention, whether we were on a hot streak or a losing streak. Just like every game mattered, and that's all we asked for. I remember specifically talking in the preseason, like before the season ever kicked off, in those podcasts, Like, even if we come up short, we just want, like, we didn't want a month and a half of borderline meaningless hockey because we weren't in contention, and we were. So I think we got everything that we could have realistically hoped for from this team this season, and I truly, honestly believe it only goes up from here. Like, there's too much talent. They're too young. And there's with cap space, there's just too much freedom to make moves to make this team better, to get help for the guys that we already have. And I think I truthfully, honestly believe it's only up from here.
Mm-hmm. The sky's the limit for this organization. What a great ride it's been. This team has been phenomenal. The organization has been phenomenal. The fans have been phenomenal. It has been everything and more you could ask for out of an inaugural season. What a ride it's been. Dustin, thank you very much for being my co-pilot through this season. It has been an absolute blast to produce this podcast with you. I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
And I owe you the same debt of gratitude, the same thanks, because I would not be sitting right here podcasting again, truly doing what I love to do, talking sports on a podcast again. I would not be here had you not sent me a text that one day and saying, "Don't ask any questions. Are you in or you out?" And
didn't say anything. I love it.
Didn't know what it was, but I was in. And had you not sent me that text, I wouldn't be here right now. And I've had so much damn fun making this podcast, recording this, like, and for us, like I just said, it only goes up from here for the team. It only goes up from here for us too. We have so many big things planned for the podcast that I think everybody's going to love. And just so thank you to you as well, because had you not been this is you and Ryan. This is you and Ryan. This is your baby. This is your creation. You just brought me along for the ride, and I could not thank you enough. So truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Means a lot to us, and we plucked you from we put you in the driver's seat as well many a time. You've been fantastic. The fans love you, and we love you, and guys, we love you out there too. Please continue to follow the team, follow the podcast at the Two Line Pass, twolinepass.com, YouTube, all the things, guys. But really, this is all about the Utah Hockey Club, and what a great season this has been. Thank you guys for being here with us. And what
Calgary won in a shootout.
Oh,
Calgary won in a shootout.
It hurts, Calgary, doesn't it? Oh man. Well, don't lose so many games in the regular season and you wouldn't be here. That's
ironically, they scored 5 points. They scored 5 goals.
Hey,
which, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that's how many they scored against Utah all year long. In 3
join us on the links, Calgary fans. We're all going golfing. Let's do a Utah fan golf tournament of some kind. We got enough golfers out there. We'll put something together.
We've done that. You and I did that. The across the green tournament.
Right. This poster here.
Right, maybe we can work out something like that with the Utah Hockey Club. Get some fans out there, pay a couple $100 to go golf with their favorite player.
It's going to be great. And guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being fans of the Utah Hockey Club. We appreciate it. And we appreciate you sticking with us, being here with the Two Line Pass podcast. More coming up, Family Cup Series, playoff coverage, and more. Thanks so much for being here. You guys have a great night.